Primary elections in West Virginia and Nebraska delivered a mixed result for former President Trump's preferred candidates. ABC News projects Congressman Alex Mooney, Trump's pick in West Virginia's 2nd District, has the votes over the more moderate Congressman David McKinley, who is backed by the state's governor, and moderate Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. Meanwhile, in Nebraska, ABC News projects Jim Pillen as the winner over Charles Herbster, who Trump campaigned for. Let's bring in ABC News contributor Amanda Renteria, the former national political director for Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign, and Sarah Isgur, former Trump administration official, for more on this. Sarah, I want to start with you. What do you think these results say about former President Trump's influence over the Republican Party right now?
Well, obviously, if we wanted to have a broad perspective on Donald Trump and what his endorsement is worth, we'd want all these primaries, in very close proximity. Right now, we have Ohio, West Virginia, and Nebraska, but we don't have, for instance, Georgia and Pennsylvania. So let's start with what we know. Obviously, Donald Trump had a very good night in Ohio. His preferred candidate for that Senate primary won. And then last night in West Virginia, we saw the same thing happen. In Nebraska, on the other hand, Donald Trump's endorsed candidate did not win. And in Georgia, again, a state that we haven't had yet, his endorsed candidate for governor is running quite a bit behind Kemp, the current governor. And then in Pennsylvania, very, very close race up there between Dr. Oz and David McCormick. So at this point, you have to say that Donald Trump has had a very good run on his endorsements, not perfect, but that the majority of Republican primary voters, which of course is not necessarily representative of voters across the country, believe that Donald Trump's endorsement is meaningful. The question is how much, and the question is, outside of a primary, is that going to help or hurt the Republican Party when they face Democrats?
Now, Amanda, the race for West Virginia's 2nd District was actually between two incumbent congressmen because the state lost a district. David McKinley voted with Democrats on the bipartisan infrastructure deal and in support of the bipartisan commission to investigate the January 6th attack on the Capitol. He is now losing his seat to Trump's pick, Congressman Alex Mooney. So what does that mean for Democrats in Congress, who now have one fewer moderate across the aisle, or they will?
I don't think anyone was surprised by that outcome. I think we've seen West Virginia politics during this period of time, and we've seen Manchin vote the way he has, giving you an indication that it's a tough race to win in, obviously, for any Democrat in West Virginia. I think what is interesting about last night's races is that you did see the local intention in Nebraska. And remember, Nebraska actually splits their presidential electoral vote. So it's always a state that both parties look at pretty closely about what's happened, what does it look like. And frankly, when you look at Pillen and what he did, there is a way to beat Trump here. And there is a statement about who are your surrogates? How local are they? Can you win a race based on what is happening on the ground? And that usually is, in some states, in some races, you will see a local race and a local strategy in order to win. And so you did see two different things in the last night's elections, and we'll see how these next go. As Sarah said, we have some really big states coming up that will indicate, is this a nationalized election? What role will Trump play going forward?
All right. And Sarah, financial disclosures show that in several high-profile primaries, Republican donors have given huge sums of money to candidates running against Trump's picks. What do you make of that, and what kind of an impact do you expect from that as primaries ramp up in the next few weeks?
It's interesting, and I'd love for Amanda's perspective on this, too, because we've both worked in politics for a long time at this point. And, 20 years ago, if you told me the fundraising numbers of the two candidates, I could predict and pretty good guess of who was going to win. But we've reached almost a point of money saturation where the money has such diminishing returns. There's not much to spend it on. You've bought up all the ad time. You've blanketed everyone's doors with flyers. So we're seeing creative uses of money, for instance, paying people to talk to their friends and family about who they're voting for on the Democratic side, something that worked very well in Georgia in 2020, for instance. But when it comes to the money, I'm just not sure it's well spent above a certain amount. So I'll be curious whether it makes a difference in those races.
All right, Amanda Renteria, Sarah Isgur, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.